Vietnam is a rich culture comprised of numerous different ethnic groups, each with their own distinct style of dance. Dances can range anywhere from traditional court dances to festival dances and even into modern dance. Traditional court dances were performed in the palace for the royal court and are coupled with very distinct rules and technique. However, because of Vietnam's increasingly politically and economically motivated society, the traditional arts are becoming more and more economically motivated as well. Under the economic reform known as Doi Moi, private enterprises such as traditional dance were rendered as tools for commodity production so that Vietnam could establish relations with the capitalistic Western nations. Thus, traditional dance has moved out of the palace and become a commodity, which consumers and tourists can attain at places such as hotels, theaters, schools, and other places. Aside from traditional dances, Vietnam is also rich in celebratory dance, associated with festivals such as the New Year. One of Vietnam's festive dances, the Lion Dance, has very close ties with and influences from China, as well as other Southeast Asian countries. Each geographical area has different interpretations of the lion and the look of the costume, but they all remain very close in nature. Vietnam receives its more modern dance influences from the French. Ballet and opera have become highly ingrained in modern Vietnamese culture, with national opera houses and ballet companies established throughout the nation under the direction of the Vietnam National Opera and Ballet Organization, one of the most famous being the Hanoi Opera House. Although the struggle between maintaining traditional values and customs in an ever-increasing capitalistic society might seem to take a toll on the arts of Vietnam, the arts have proven themselves to be resilient by adapting and incorporating aspects of the changing world around them.
There are a few typical Vietnamese instruments that are mainly coming from the string, wind, and percussion families. A popular string instrument is called a Dan Nugent, meaning moon-string instrument. It has two strings and looks like a banjo and is used in folk and classic music. A typical wind instrument in Vietnam would be either a sao or a khen. A sao is a flute-like instrument made out of bamboo with one hole for blowing and contains 6 finger holes. It is usually used in more modern music, but recently artists have added extra holes to produce the sound of semitones. This instrument is also used for the music of the royal court in Hue, Vietnam. A khen is an oboe-like instrument which contains 2 reeds and a wooden body. The sound it makes is a very high-pitched and powerful sound. A famous musician who plays the khen is Nguyen Ca Han. There are 2 other varieties of khens. One is metal and the other is wooden, and they are in a bell shape. A typical percussion instrument would be a dong sun drum, also known as a bronze drum. This is an artifact from the Red River Delta around 600 BC. It weighs about 100 kilograms. The drums are decorated with scenes from all types of daily life. After interviewing people in Little Saigon Mall, every single person mentioned that their all-time favorite singer and songwriters were Kahan Lee and Trung Kong Song. During the war, they often sang songs together in the Southern Vietnam University campuses. Con Lee sang songs often that Trung Kong Song wrote about anti-war. He was constantly under government supervision because of his anti-war songs, which did not encourage support for the war. No matter who you ask, old or young, everyone enjoys their music. Trung Kong Song died in 2001 in Vietnam, but Con Lee is still alive and lives in Cerritos, California, where she moved to after the war in 1975. When interviewing people at the Vietnamese Mall in Little Saigon, when asked what their favorite pop or current singer was for female singers, they said Minh Tuyet, and for male, they said Dan Nguyen. Minh Tuyet is a Vietnamese pop singer. She also is a performer in Thuy Nang's Paris by Night. She has over 18 albums, and her most popular audience is usually teenagers.
The Âu Dai is a Vietnamese national costume which is commonly worn by women. The Vietnamese word Âu Dai means long dress, and for many years it has become a symbol for the beauty of Vietnamese women. The dress consists of a long, high-neck, close-fitting tunic with a split along the side to the waist and worn over loose-fitting trousers. The Âu Dai can be worn with a nung lei, which is a pointed leaf hat, a style associated with the Hue. A good summary for the Âu Dai would be beautiful, but not for every woman and not for every occasion. The garment represents elegancy and gracefulness in a woman by showing off the woman's slender form. The word Odai was originally applied to the outfit worn at the court of the winged lords at Hue in the 18th century. This outfit evolved into the onion thin, a 5-panel aristocratic gown worn in the 19th and early 20th centuries. By the 1950s, Saigon designers tightened the fit to produce the version worn by Vietnamese women today. The dress was extremely popular in South Vietnam in the 1960s and early 1970s. The Odai ties feminine beauty to Vietnamese nationalism, especially in the form of the Miss Odai pageants, popular both among overseas Vietnamese and in Vietnam itself.
The French have had an immense impact on Vietnam in terms of politics, ideology, and religion. Although the French failed to take over Vietnam, remnants of their presence have lingered, most notably in the food. The banh mi, or Vietnamese sandwich as it is commonly known, encapsulates a fusion of Vietnamese and French ingredients. The most obvious French contribution to the sandwich is the baguette. Other French ingredients include pâté, a mixture of ground meat, fat, vegetables, herbs, and spices, and mayonnaise. The Vietnamese components consist of, but are not limited to, cilantro, pickled carrots, daikon, hot peppers, and fish sauce. Banh mi is a great example of how foreign influence, although questionable in terms of geopolitics, is a good thing for food.
Alright guys, tell me what you guys are eating.
Grilled
We're
chicken.
both eating the grilled chicken.
What is it? Bao Dai?
Banh mi.
Bao Dai.
Banh mi.
It's got like grilled chicken and carrots and onions.
Bell peppers, cilantro.
And
They have some type of dressing on here. I'm not sure what it is. So I think the French part of the banh mi would be the baguette, right? But the vegetables seem very Vietnamese, like the daikon, the cilantro. What do you guys think of the sandwich? You were saying, Kate, that it's a sandwich you've never eaten before.
I wouldn't like put this kind of food in a sandwich, but I mean like I wouldn't put carrots in my grilled chicken sandwich, but you know, Vietnamese, so I'll try it.
Woo! The smoothies are good. The smoothies are good.
What are they?
Yes. And I got the traditional Vietnamese iced coffee with condensed milk. And then
What is your sandwich like?
Combination with it looks like pork and pâté. Pâté is also the French part of the banh mi. Of course, the French love their pâté, and I think the banh mi is actually a really good interpretation, or kind of like the way that food has been integrated into Vietnamese culture. The Vietnamese love banh mi, from what I know, and it really is a combination of Vietnamese ingredients and French ingredients. So I think it's a very good example of Vietnam's history in terms of food. So there you go, guys.